Hello, and welcome to the latest in our ImpactWayv podcast series, Making an Impact. Earlier this year, I was introduced to Something Good in Englewood, a Chicago-based organization. To say I was inspired would be a gross understatement. With all the many wonderful programs and initiatives being offered, it is the hope they provide that I found most notable and touched my heart. Today, we are joined by Mrs. Adams, the founder and chief educator, Justin Morgan, director of operations, and Braisha, head of communications for Something Good in Englewood. Welcome, everyone. It's such a pleasure to have you here today.
Yay! Thank you, Karen. We're so excited to be talking with you.
Yes. It's an honor to be here, I must say.
Well, I'm honored to have you. I'm inspired by everything you do. So could one of you please start off by maybe telling us about Something Good in Englewood?
Okay, so Something Good in Englewood, we were started in 2018 as a derivative from our sister organization, Early Learning Facility, Little Angels Family Daycare. They have been in the Englewood community for over 20 years, providing high quality educational practices. And to provide that continuously to the children, we also had to serve the families. So the families, had various disparities and daily tragedies just living in the inner city. So we kind of formed Something Good in Englewood along with the families and residents to kind of be the sister organization to provide those essential resources to our families. So back in 2018, we all started, and our mission is to increase the socioeconomics of Englewood through educational and supportive services. So, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich of greatness.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And I see that in the faces online and what I've read about the children that you inspire, who really feel part of that community and are looking to give back. You've done some amazing things with preparing kids for life, and they seem so proud of where they come from.
Absolutely.
That they're not letting their circumstances define them, but you seem to be showing them and believing in them that they are the directors of their own destiny, and they really can be and do anything they want.
Well said. That's actually one of Miss Adams' favorite quotes. She always say we're not defined by our zip codes. So that's very accurate.
And that is an extension of our morale here, just the core of our daily operations here, just amongst the team, and it trickles down to the children and our youth and families, that we always pushing each other to be great, and continuing that process as well. And Miss Adams can speak to that very much as well.
Miss Adams, you're on mute.
Cute.
Thank you. Okay, so you know what? I'm super excited, but yet slightly a little nervous. My very first podcast ever. So thank you again, Mrs. Karen, for having us to be able to share our experience of our story. And just as the team said, we believe that we put the unity in the community, and that is our goal. Our goal is to provide resources for our families through supportive services. So we're like that agency that links residents and families to various services. And we said that's one of the reasons we know our community is underserved, because we're just simply under-resourced. And that's our goal, to seek out those great resources and link our families into those resources. Yes.
And that has to be so encouraging, because families just are trying to make it, and to know that they are being supported, not just their children, but it comes home.
Absolutely. That homeschool connection is just crucial. I mean, it's critical for the success of our families. I say all the time, so as an educator, I was teaching for more than 20 plus years. And Mr. Morgan, I did hear him say 20 years, but we've been existing Morgan for 28 years. So 20 plus years. Wow. And just starting off as a teacher in the classroom, just with, that great energy, and saying, hey, I want to be a part of your child's growth and development of the family and the child. But then the families, would always remind us, hey, my gas is not working at home. My lights are off at home. So just those basic essentials being met. And that's how Something Good in Englewood derived from having connections with other resource agencies and having a place where the little one can come for shelter and food. But in addition to that, receiving, the academics that's needed, and having leaders in their lives, leaders slash teachers and family members that come together and just work collectively together. So that's what we've been doing for the last decade, is just working together as a unit. And when you have supportive services in place, it just makes the self-sufficiency growth of life, everything just looks so different. So we're just that agency where individuals come in for various supportive services, and we grow along with the families, and we meet them where they are when they come in, and we grow together. And it's a beautiful growth to see that impact as you're growing together. It's just a beautiful journey. That's what inspires me the most and keep me motivated the most, to see that impact that we do on a daily basis, and having the services for the families when they need family support services, mental health services, and just going on down the line, having access to that. It's just, that's the key, just the access, and that's what we provide.
Sure.
Exactly. And with each of those individual, and they're so important services for, mind, body, and soul, just the overarching that there are people who care, and that it takes a community, and that it's okay to reach out for those children to see that example. I noticed in some of the amazing stories, and I can't wait to hear about it, about your success stories, and all those beautiful children going to college, full scholarships. But what touched me, besides their amazing achievements, which are remarkable, is the sense of community. It's besides wanting to be doctors, lawyers. I think it was Damien who wants to use his skills to create something new with his math principles.
Yes.
With all of that, coming back to that zip code, it's not defining them, but they're proud, and it's part of who they are. And their example of hope for the younger ones that you're bringing, my gosh, they could see it in action.
Yes. Miss Karen, I couldn't have said it any better than just what you just simply said. You're absolutely right. The pride that the families, the youth, the parents coming back to, just as you said, to some of their humble beginnings. And as they're on this journey, the pride that they have as they're on this path, and just doing it together. And I think for many, it's just the fact that we're that safe hub, that consistent, safe facility, a safe haven, where they know we've been a staple in the community for decades. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're on this journey together. And it's just been a blessing, because once again, being that staple here in the community, and being consistent in our practices, and having such a nurturing, supportive team, just even like with our mental health consultants, because we have, different departments that help us to, thrive together as a unit. So just all of that coupled together, and this beautiful relationship that we're establishing with yourself. So just to say, it's all the support, that it's just the supportive services. I just can't stress it enough. Yes.
And you know what I loved when I first met you, and your lovely team, I was thinking about how much you do for the community. It's an underserved community, but it has ripple effects. It's not just the children, their families. It's got to attract businesses and change the whole landscape of it. And I see that even your students see that they want to support small business, and it's just amazing what you're doing for an entire community to change that landscape.
And thank you for sharing this. And then I'll stop talking after this one. But just the last part, when you talk about others coming in to provide support for us. So what has been like really high on our priority list over these last several months is just having supportive services in from a mental health standpoint. And, a lot of times in the Black and Brown communities, when you talk about mental health, not from the psychosis standpoint, but just, I'm not crazy. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't need anyone to talk to. So we just say, it's just a session where you come in and do some planning together. It's just a venting session. but it has allowed many to work on a work-life balance. And for that, that's a conversation that lots of times that, for many of the families and for many of us, sometimes even including myself, it was a process, and it's still an ongoing process, just that work-life balance. So just having those conversations with individuals is helping them to begin to, prioritize just this. I mean, just the topic goes on and on, but I just say that to say, when you mention being a support and things of that nature, what are some of the things that's helping us to propel the work we do? And that is just having these supportive services and talking through work-life balance. What does that look like? What does that even look like? So just a lot of conversations that we're having, and just the support. It's just insulated support, just quality support.
You touch on so much. You offer so much to the children and to your community. One thing, just getting off Financial Literacy Month, we've done some things here at ImpactWayv, but your L.E.A.F program, with the learning everything about finance, I think is amazing. There are so many people who are, and rightly so, taking care of the issues with the children or young adults at college and high school, their first jobs, cars, student loans, and credit cards. And there should be focus, because the amount of financial illiteracy is huge. But the focus is often on the problems of today, and you seem to be tackling to support people in their vision for tomorrow by offering these programs for the youth. So, you're addressing it with the future. If you could, tell us a little bit about that particular program that I think is just essential for the success as these young adults go forward.
It is. I'll allow Mr. Morgan to speak to that.
Yes, the L.E.A.F program was established to exactly what you said, just provide the youth of tomorrow the necessary tools to be productive fiscally. And, some of these subjects, we joke about, what they're teaching in the school systems, how it doesn't help them in the adult life. But we want to kind of circumvent that process and really provide them the necessary tools concerning taxes, teaching them about stocks. What is a checking and savings account? What's a routing number? And that's why we partnered with Greenlight Financial, based in Atlanta. God bless them. They provided us with an amazing partnership called the Legacy Program, where they offered us the Legacy tier of their. It's an online bank. Is specifically for parents, teaching, training their children on how to effectively utilize their finances. So they're gifted with a custom debit card. There's a portal where we can personally deposit and withdraw money out of their accounts in real time. We can lock their debit card if they're on punishment. And in addition to that, they offered us micro cohorts that were about 30 minutes, where they teach them the basics about finances. And here's the kicker. They were compensated. The children and the parents were compensated for learning about banking. So it was just a state-of-the-art program that we absolutely love to implement. They provided no monthly fees for our families, no transaction or overdraft fees for our families. So it was just a world-class program. And, I hate to share this bad news, but due to budget cuts and layoffs, they got rid of our entire team that we were working with, at Miss Ashley, Miss, with the glasses, I'm trying to blank on her name. Miss Tiffany, Miss Ashley, Miss Ray. They all were unfortunately disconnected from the company, and our program was X'd out. So we're actually shopping this program to other financial institutions to kind of pass the baton to. And then we were also gifted a grant to where the compensation that Greenlight offered our families, we were able to match as well. So just as an extra incentive to get them fully motivated to participate in the program, but in the event to bridge the gap between financial illiteracy and literacy. And I'm going to say this one last thing. we got an amazing partnership with African American Christian Foundation that are going to provide us with slots to hire youth, both short term and long term. So the students like Damien, who participated in our Greenlight Legacy program, can get hired and utilize those tools he learned in the Legacy program in real time. So it's just a full circle moment, and something, you know, myself and the entire team is very proud of, and we want to multiply times a million going forward. We want a fully sustainable Englewood community, and it starts here.
And that is just incredible, and it's been so inspiring just being in touch and talking to you. I feel very blessed in the last several months. But with that financial literacy, it's like you said, it's just a constant circle, because that's one subject that I've learned recently that, you know, isn't discussed. Parents don't know how to discuss it, especially if they don't feel that they're doing such a good job. And it's something that the kids really do take home. You might not talk much about geography or a history lesson, but something practical you can bring home, and the parents are learning. And, you know, it's integral to that whole person and helps the entire family. I think it's so important, because we had one guest who said, you know, everybody talks six figures, but it's true. If you can't manage $50, how the heck are you going to manage $500,000?
There you go. There you go.
And it's a perfect way to introduce needs and wants to your child, because I'm a father myself. I have a teenage daughter heading to college. My son graduated high school last year, and they realized that money doesn't, in fact, grow on trees. And I love it. And that's kind of like what L.E.A.F was. It was like a metaphor of a money tree, you know, and we just turn it into an acronym, but it literally doesn't grow on trees, and they're learning the hard way. So I'm happy about that. So like, utilize what Greenlight taught you, and you know, multiply your money. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I just was thinking, and I would also like to add, it was also a super blessing and an opportunity that opened for us for many of our families. So for an example, we were able, 9 families were able to open checking accounts / savings accounts, where many of our residents, unfortunately, the numbers were at a over 40 percentile, where residents used local currency exchanges as a form of cashing out their checks that collects those fees. And we were able to, you know, through the Greenlight program and their educational side, was able to remind the families and the residents, you know, how we partnered with one of our neighborhood banks. So they did not have any, as we were saying earlier, maintenance fees, which took all of the financial barriers away. And just ecstatic to report that 9 of those families are still with their checking account. And it's a great thing, because that is the goal for families to become financially, of course, you know, financial freedom is the way to go. But just that being independent in terms of financially and what that looks like, because, you know, for many residents, that financial conversation is not a talk to day-to-day conversation. So just the Greenlight entity blessed us in so many ways for many of our residents. And as Mr. Morgan said, we're on that journey to find another institution that's going to provide something similar, where there's education attached to it as well.
Well, and it must make somebody feel so good, and it's intimidating if you don't have a checking account and you're not sure, and do I have enough? And to open that door, and like you said, they just stay, and you feel that, and it must be a sense of pride, because I'm sure all your parents, you want to be a good parent, and sometimes it's hard to realize. As somebody said, it really touched my heart that, you know, parents don't always realize they're their children's first hero.
Yes, very true. That would be accurate, 100%. Yes.
I know I often didn't feel like a hero, but you know.
Yes. And what was also great about the classes with Greenlight was the fact that the parents would be on this class, would take this was a part of this cohort and take the class with their child. So for some of our residents, they were learning alongside their child. So it was just really great, but it was turned into a fun experience. So they're just
a life-changing one.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes.
That's wonderful. And Braisha, I've seen you on social media recording some of the amazing things that the community does. Holy moly.
Yeah.
From, Christmas with delivering, gifts. Could you tell us maybe about some of the, I just was fixated watching the amazing. You're great behind the camera. I'd like to see in front of it sometime.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yes, that's me doing all the talking. Because as you know, we live in a day and age where social media is just everything now. So that's one of the ways that we try to spread the work that we're doing, how we spread resources, events that are coming up. We definitely want to make sure to push it and publicize it on social media, because a lot of the youth and parents, they utilize socials as well. And that's how they follow and track a lot of the things that we are doing and the initiatives that we have. So yes, please guys, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all those good things, Something Good in Englewood. But yeah, we had a lot of initiatives that we did over the past, like you mentioned, the Christmas event. That was amazing. We had Santa Claus, AKA Mr. Morgan, dress up as Santa, and we went and delivered toys and gifts and decorations to kids and their families. And just to see their expressions and reactions to everything was just heartwarming. It was phenomenal. And not to mention we did that in the snow. I think it rained one of those days too.
Couple blizzards. We had 2 blizzards in there. 2 blizzards.
We did. But all that mattered was the end goal, was delivering their Christmas gifts and making their Christmas special. That's all that mattered to us.
But our Christmas ball, we had the ball right after the delivery.
That's right. We did. We had the Christmas ball right after that. I think we put a few photos on there from social media. I think I was the host for that. We also had an event where we partnered with Englewood STEM High School. They had a resource fair. So we were there on live as well, telling everyone about what was happening there, to come on down and utilize some of the great resources that's going on and happening in Englewood. So yeah, social media is a huge, huge, huge factor. And I try to stay up to date on that, which I think I really do. Yeah,
I think so too. It's great. I think I want to come to that ball, Mrs. Adams. If you want to, there's, I know you have a lot coming up in June. I'd love to hear about that, Justin. But Mrs. Adams, it does seem like, I think the city of Englewood must be so thrilled with all you're doing for that community. But you have a big building project, I think, coming up, which if you'd like to.
Oh, Miss Karen.
We do.
Miss Karen, that's the reason. Yeah, that's why my hair looks like this, you guys, remember? And I'm trying to keep my glasses on straight. Miss Karen, it's just a blessing of a blessing. Super excited that we have a new school on the way, 3 years in the process. COVID, we started just maybe about 6 months before COVID came along. So then we had some complications going on because, the construction costs had escalated. But here we are now, and we're less than 5 days from starting our excavation. So we're just basically going to double in sizing. We're going to serve 125 families and residents. And it's going to be a beautiful, it's going to be just historical for us because we're going to have an indoor gym area. So, lots of times there are elements in the community that takes place. But then having our indoor gym, our kids are not necessarily going to have to always go outside. There are just so many it's just going to be a state-of-the-art facility. It's going to be more than 15,000 square footage.
Wow.
And it's just, when I tell you, the excitement is on super high. And then I'm a student in school as well, because I'm working with architects and I'm working with owners, reps, and attorneys, and I'm learning all of that lingo, trying to stay in the loop there. And it's just great because we've received just so much support, just from building the school out. So we're running into like stormwater systems that we have to have that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then we have these great institutions, if I could name them, such as like the McCormick Foundation, the Chicago Community Trust, and many others that have come in and helped us. We had construction gap, so that gap is not fully filled. So we have all of our dollars to get started. We just received an amazing grant from the city of Chicago, Best Southwest program. Yes, that's where they're working in communities that has been disinvested in for years, decades. So we're getting infrastructure dollars there. We're receiving money from this on the state side. So just trying to understand, because we weren't so much in public policy per se, but just living in that space now. But it really will allow us to advance the work that we're doing in essence. That's really what it will do. And I always say, I'm just so thankful that all of my little ones in this season, they're all fully grown, because it allows me to, this is what we sleep, breathe. This is every day for us. But it's amazing, just when you talked about earlier, like we just took our very first college tour. So that tour, we went to 6 amazing schools, HBCU schools. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm sorry. So we went to Howard, Spelman, Clark, Atlanta, Emory, Georgia Tech, Morris Brown, and they were all amazing. But all of the students that we took will be all first-time generational college students to come. So just saying that to say, being able to continue to advance the work and then being properly positioned, so we will be able to, serve our families and our residents. It's just a beautiful thing. So the new school, we are serving the community, serving the children and the families, and just being blessed along the way, Miss Karen. Sometimes individuals say, well, which topic are you talking on today? I said, I know, we have so many topics going on, but all in a great way, because we're just insulated with support. We're just receiving so much support, and it's just a blessing of a blessing.
That's amazing, but it speaks volumes to what you've been to that community and how you've impacted to have that kind of support. Like you said, you don't build a building with just a contractor. It takes so much to do that. But my gosh, to all of you and the entire team, that says volumes about what you are to that community. I just hope people see that and replicate the incredible program, because it can be replicated. So you can take these communities that are not being served, and you show the way.
That's right. Thank you. We said we put the unity in community, right, team?
That's right.
It's the whole team. It's the entire team. Absolutely. And everyone is just embedded. We're in the threads, just 100%, just 100%. But it is a blessing. It truly is a blessing. And that's why we're going to continue to advocate to be properly resourced in terms of just making certain that, we're at these tables where these conversations are taking place to say, hey, you guys saying you're believing in the work that we do, or you believe in our children. We want to be a pipeline for our public school system as well. We want our little ones when they leave here. And that's one of the reasons. I'm sorry, let me just share this very briefly. The reason we're building the new school, and we were awarded millions of dollars actually, to build the new school, is because of our high quality programming. When our children leave our early learning side, we have a 90% matriculation rate where our kids are placed in the gifted and selective enrollment schools. And that's an awesome opportunity, because when they're in these elementary schools, the gifted and selected programs, because they're prepared, you have the high schools that's coming knocking at the door. So by the time college comes, you have scholarships that's pouring in on you, which we talked about last time, Mrs. Karen. One of our seniors, Mr. Rahman, was accepted to 34 universities and got $875,000 in scholarship dollars.
That really is remarkable.
Yes,
I know. It's just astounding. And there's so many of your children that do that. It's just such a source of pride.
That's right.
You earned every one of these, blessings and grants, because you're such an integral part of the community. And again, it bears repeating, although I'm the one saying it. These are not, even in my community, the kids are growing up, but they're leaving. And that's like an issue that many communities have. Your students, your kids, I'm sure they're all your kids, want to come back no matter where their life takes them. It seems to be such a part that they want to give back. And maybe life doesn't bring them exactly back to Englewood with their lovely careers, but they want to be part of a community. And how lovely, because I don't think we were put here to be solo. So
absolutely. I totally agree.
It's so amazing.
Yes.
And Justin, I do know, because we touched on it in another conversation, you have some amazing things coming up in June. Do you want to touch on some of those?
Yeah, so to piggyback from what Mrs. Adams said, we were gifted the $2.4 million because of our matriculation rate, but she forgot to mention, coupled with that was a proclamation. Yes, officiating June 5th as Something Good in Englewood Day here in Chicago.
That's right.
So we as an organization want to celebrate that along with our mission and just provide a weekend of fun. So, of course, when COVID happened, we kind of had to scale back our programming, and we slowly but surely growing back out to full capacity. But this year, we're especially exciting. We're just compacting everything into 2 days. So the first is our annual award ceremony for our parents and our community partners. This is our 15th anniversary. So we are very excited, and we are honoring some amazing parents and community partners. So we're super excited.
And they're excited, and they're excited too.
Yes. So, and then the second thing, you'll have to tune into our social media for it might be a big announcement or a small announcement. We're not sure. We're still working on some things. But all in all, the goal is to, just remind Englewood that we are great. We are positive. We are fun. We're human, and we like to have fun. So this weekend, it exemplifies that. We want to have fun, and we want to honor our parents and our families, and just, keep the ball rolling of greatness. So that's what we stand for as Something Good in Englewood, and that's what the weekend stands for. So we're all excited, and we're just so ecstatic and excited and blessed to have to be on your show today. So,
and I want to add one thing to that. I'm sorry. With that weekend, we also have a huge resource fair, and that takes place on that Saturday. And that's when we partner with over 22 partners that we have.
Wow.
And we're working through the partners that will be attending this year. But again, that goal is for the residents to know who's in our community and what services do they provide. So for an example, if you're going through your medical challenges and you're visiting, or you are primarily stationed to, I don't know, University of Chicago Hospital or St. Bernard Hospital, is your insurance HMO, is it covered there? So you get an opportunity to meet some of those individuals from those hospitals to talk that through. So absolutely. So you get to know a lot of your partners that are in the community and in and out of the community. So that's what's great about that resource fair, because it's bringing those resources right to the doorsteps for residents to say, hey, tell me about this, or, I'm looking for a job. Skills in Chicago, you guys help with workforce development, or so just that intimate time where partners come out and provide their services as well too.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, that is so important, because we talked about banking, but healthcare is even more so. It's intimidating, and you hear the numbers, and the reality is the Black and Brown communities are not served as they should be. That's
simply said. Yep.
Just a fact. And I mean, that's intimidating in itself. And to have people who care enough to come out and to see that, that could be life changing and life saving, and how wonderful. And to show the kids that again. Well, I'm just so happy to see all of you, to let the audience know some of what I've just loved discovering about Something Good in Englewood. You're just something good in the world.
Karen, I'm telling you, we're for you. Ready? We got an office we're building at the new building. You're going to come here to Chicago and with us, because you're just so amazing. So
Oh, I want to be there at the Christmas ball and your ribbon cutting.
Ribbon cutting, most
Yes.
definitely, Miss Karen. Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely, yes, yes.
Well, thank you all so much. Justin, Mrs. Adams, Fraisha, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining. Thanks to all for tuning in. If you enjoyed the conversation, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel, and hope to see you next time.
hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the notification button. I've always wanted to say that. Like,
I know you did. I know you did.
thank you so much. Follow